Hey, BookTube, Sean here, and welcome to the return of my weekend books here on the channel. I've been doing it on the blog for a couple of weeks, but I'm also has been as horrible at keeping up with the blog as I have been at making videos lately. Just haven't had a ton of time because I've been working on this show. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. Assistant directing that for my wife. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you've heard me talk about that. Any new subscribers to the channel since my last video? I know there are some. First, welcome to the channel. I'm happy to have you, and that's why I haven't had a ton of content come out. Is I have been busy assistant directing a show, and just haven't had the time to film. But we are going into production week. We open a week from tonight. I'm filming this on a Friday night. We open on February 23rd, and once it's in performances, I get some time back because I'll have my weeknights back, and then after 3 weeks I'll have weekends back too. So I'm spending some time recording some videos tonight and probably tomorrow to get some content to throw up over the next week, and then I'll have time to film again. So figure it's a good time to bring back my weekend books to the channel, especially since I didn't do a blog post for it today. So anyway, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cover a little bit more than just this week. I'm not going to do I did a mid-January wrap-up. I'm not going to do like a part 2, an end-of-month wrap-up for January. I finished 3 books, and I did a blog post about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link the blog post below, and if you're interested in the 3 books that I finished in the last part of January and my thoughts on them, you can go to the blog and read it. I don't see the sense in doing a video for 3 books, and I don't want to make this video any longer than it's probably already going to be. So I'll cover in this one. I have finished 4 books in February so far. 2 of them in the first part of the month, nothing last week, and I have finished 2 books this week. So, in the first part of the month, I listened to the audiobook of Sean McGuire's Every Heart a Doorway, which is a BookTube darling, and I totally understand why I absolutely loved that story. If you're unaware, and if I don't know how you can watch BookTube and be unaware of what this book is about, it is about what happens to the children who go through magical doorways, what their life is like when they come back. There's a school that they go to, and it's for the children who they can't cope with regular life anymore. All they want to do is go back through their doorway, but their doorway's not appearing for them anymore. So, and then something happens at the school, and fingers are pointed, and a group of kids has to decide, or not decide, but has to figure out what is really going on and who the culprit is. And that's all I'll say about it. Like I said, I'm probably one of the last people in SFF BookTube that to read it. So I'm looking forward to getting into the second book. The second book is nominated for the BookTube SFF Awards, so I'm definitely going to get to that one soon. I have it on my Kindle. Then again, I may do I really enjoyed the audiobook of Every Heart a Doorway, so I might check out the audiobook from the library too. So we'll see. And then I also finished another audiobook, Devil in a Blue Dress by Walter Mosley, and that was for the Read Harder Challenge, and that was for the a mystery by a person of color or LGBTQ plus author, and Walter Mosley is a person of color. So that satisfied that portion of that prompt for the Read Harder Challenge for me, and it's a book I've always wanted to read too. It was a movie in the 90s, I think, with Denzel Washington in the lead role. And I enjoyed it. It was a fun book. It's about Easy Rawlins. That's who Denzel Washington played in the movie. And he has recently been let go from his job, and an opportunity to earn some money comes up just for finding out where this girl is, and that leads down a whole rabbit hole with people ending up dead and the cops wanting to blame Easy for it. So he has to discover what's really going on to keep himself out of jail. And it was a really fun mystery. I actually listened to it in a day because I listen to audiobooks at double speed, so I was able to knock it out in like 4 hours, and it was really fun to listen to. So I recommend it. If you've never checked out the Easy Rawlins series before, I definitely want to check out more of the series and see where the character goes from the end of this book. So that's Devil in a Blue Dress by Walter Mosley. And now last week I didn't finish anything. I just really tied up, didn't have a ton of time to read. But this week I finished Pillars of the Earth. I was buddy reading this with Robyn, a Driftless reader, and she finished it before I did, and I had actually some time to read this past week. My wife had some surgery on her gums, and so I had a couple of days off work to take her to the surgery and follow up, and it snowed like crazy here in Michigan, and so we didn't really want to go out either. If we'd had rehearsal, it would have been canceled anyway. So I had a lot of time free to be able to read. So I was about halfway through the book going into the week, and I read around 500-600 pages of the book and finished it up just this past Monday night. It was last week that I had all the time to read, not this week. This week hasn't been great for reading time. It hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been great. Anyway, but I enjoyed the book. I liked it. I didn't love it. I actually think I'm going to do, I'm not positive, but I think I might do a full video talking about the book because I have a lot of thoughts on it. But I will say that Ken Follett's character building, his characters were great. This had the antagonist in this book, a character named William Hamley. I have never had such a visceral reaction to an antagonist in a book as I did William Hamley. I hated him. I was supposed to. So he was just a horrible person. So I had there were some issues, a few issues I had with it. One being it was overly descriptive at points. I don't think it needed to be. My Kindle version was 1,067 pages, and I don't think it needed to be. But you have to see, I'm still having trouble. I finished it Monday, and I'm still having trouble really putting together all my thoughts on it. So once I have all my thoughts collected, I think I might do a video just on this book. But like I said, ultimately I did like, and I do want to read the next Kingsbridge book, which takes place a couple centuries after this one ends. And I may not have mentioned it, but this book, at its heart, at the core of this book is about the building of a cathedral in Kingsbridge, England. So anyway, that's I finally finished that. That is officially the longest book I've ever read. I had a great time reading it with Robyn. So yeah, the next book I finished this week was a graphic novel, and it was a true crime graphic novel, and it is called My Friend Dahmer by Durf Backdurf, and it is about Jeffrey Dahmer, and the guy who wrote the graphic novel went to high school with Dahmer. So it is about Dahmer in high school leading up to his first kill. And just how what Durf Backdurf witnessed of Dahmer's descent, and corroborated with news stories and interviews of Dahmer himself. But he didn't interview him, but public record interviews and videos of Dahmer. He gave a lot of video interviews after he was caught and sentenced. So he was able to fill in the holes with Dahmer's own words. So and the art in it was great. It was really interesting. I enjoy. It's morbid, but I enjoy serial killer stories, true crime serial killer stories. So it was really interesting to read about what Dahmer was like in high school. So I highly recommend it. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's what I've finished for the month of February so far. And what I'm currently reading. I may not have gathered everything because I didn't know I was going to film this video next, but I'm 11 minutes in and I'm not stopping now. So I am working on Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I've been slowly working on that. It's been, with the time I've had available, it's been really easy to read horror books. Just in the interim, when I have 10-15 minutes to read, I can knock out 2 chapters of a horror book pretty easily. So I've been reading Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and I've been reading Seed by Anya Allborn, because I found out that it's Women in Horror Month, so I wanted to hit at least one horror book by a female author, and I really enjoy Anya Allborn. So I've been working on Seed by Anya Allborn. Let me look at my Goodreads. And I am working on, if I can find it here, Everything That's Underneath by Krista DeMeester. This is a collection of Krista DeMeester's short stories. I've read the first 2 so far, and I'm kind of reading this with Vicky over at Chapter 32. She reached out to me because she knew I was going to be picking it up this month, so that we could talk about it while we're both reading it. So yeah, so far I'm enjoying this so far. Like I said, I've only read two of the stories, but Word Horde is sending me her novel Beneath, so I'm really hoping that I dig her writing, because I have a novel of hers coming to review. Just last night I started reading Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix, and this is a history of paperback horror through the 70s and 80s. Really shows a lot of like the covers of old horror books and just what the different themes of the books were through that time. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Other than that, I started. See, I had to look at Goodreads to even know what I'm reading. I started The Music Shop by Rachel Joyce because I needed something just kind of lighthearted after finishing Pillars of the Earth. So I'm about 51 pages into this. I don't know totally what it's about yet, but so far I really like the writing style in it. It's very easy to read. It's kind of light. The night I picked it up, it was exactly what I needed after finishing Pillars of the Earth. So I'm going to be working on this too. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but yeah. So that's what I've been working on. I have picked up some books this month so far. Of course, I'm not going to talk about the Kindle books I picked up. I'm going to do a separate video for that. But the physical books I have picked up, and I'm going to do a separate library haul video too, which you may have already seen. We'll see what order I put these videos up in. Well, this is my weekend books, so this is, yeah, actually you might see the library haul video first. So I don't know. I have time to film, so I'm just filming. But the first book I have picked up is Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. Sure. It is translated by Jonathan Wright, translated from the Arabic by Jonathan Wright. And this is, I'll just read it real quick. From the rubble-strewn streets of U.S.-occupied Baghdad, Hadi, a scavenger and an oddball fixture at a local cafe, collects human body parts and stitches them together to create a corpse. His goal, he claims, is for the government to recognize the parts as people and to give them proper burial. But when the corpse goes missing, a wave of eerie murder sweeps the city. Hadi soon realizes he's created a monster, one that needs human flesh to survive. First from the guilty, and then from anyone in his path. With white-knuckled horror and black humor, Frankenstein in Baghdad captures the surreal reality of contemporary Iraq. Sounds really interesting. It is one of the books for a Goodreads group called, and let me get this for you really quick. Like I said, I apologize because I didn't realize I was going to be filming this video next. It's called Distracted by Books, and it is from a booktuber named Agnes from Beyond the Epilogue. It's her Goodreads group for translated fiction. So that is one book I've picked up. I have also, my book of the month club pick this month was The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. And this is about it takes place in the 50s and in 2014. And it's a mystery novel with some ghost story aspects. This land had an asylum on it, and things are now happening at the place again. And there's a mystery to solve, and I was gonna skip book of the month this month, but then the horror elements of this intrigued me. And I've been in a horror mood lately, so I grabbed that from book of the month. I have picked up a couple of middle grade books this month. Krista at Books and Jams and Katie at Life Between Words are hosting Middle Grade March. I will also be filming my Middle Grade March MBR tonight, so be on the lookout for that. I know that will go up after this. So what I've picked up so far, I picked up a copy of one of my favorite books from childhood, The Indian in the Cupboard. I'm going to reread that for Middle Grade March by Lynn Reed Banks. I picked up The Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner. And this is Henry, Jesse, Violet, and Benny are brothers and sisters. They're orphans too, and the only way they can stay together is to make it on their own. When the children find an abandoned boxcar in the woods, they decide to call it a home and become the Boxcar Children. I read this entire series when I was a kid. Once I rediscovered it, I had such fond memories when I saw the title that I had to. It was like $3 or $4 when I was ordering this. So I had to grab it because I had such fond memories, and I don't even really remember the stories, but I know these kids, they live in the boxcar, and they solve mysteries, and I'm excited to remember what this is about and reread it. And then I also picked up The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Machine of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. I have heard really great things about this book. Yeah, I don't really know a ton about it, and it's kind of the back is kind of long, but Robyn and Driftless reader really raved about it. James Chatham really raved about it. So, and I really wanted to check it out. I may have had this in a library haul. I know I checked it out from the library, but I don't know if I ever filmed it as a library haul. But I figured since I didn't read it at the library, it was didn't cost a whole lot to pick up the paperback, so I grabbed it. And then just this week, I picked up a horror author named Cameron Robique. Cameron, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name, but Rachel at TheShadesofOrange made a Twitter post. She had gotten this in another one of his books, and they looked fun. He writes 80s slasher horror. So like, remember the classic slasher flicks of the 80s, Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, Halloween, just the classic slasher flick. He writes slasher horror. And that's my favorite subgenre of horror. So I was super excited to see somebody was writing slasher horror. And I commented on her post that those looked fun. And then I followed the author on Twitter. Then he reached out to me and, thanks for the follow. And we talked a little bit. And so I went on Amazon and I bought Kill River. And he is the seller on Amazon. He handles the sales directly. So I sent him a message on Twitter saying, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I just picked up Kill River. I just ordered Kill River off of Amazon. And he sent me a message and said, hey, I know you'll feature him on your blog and channel, so do you want me to send another one of my books for free, included in the package? And I said, sure. So he sent me one of his other books, Disco Death Trap, which is another 80s slasher flick. So I'm excited to get into these. I just think they're going to be fun. That's all I'm really expecting out of them. I just want that 80s slasher horror fun. I'm not expecting literary masterpieces. I just want that classic 80s slasher feel. So I got those, and I got a couple of books from publishers today. I got reached out to see with a list of books to see if I was interested in featuring them on my channel. So I got a couple today, and I have a few more on the way. But what I got in the mail today was Pride and Prometheus by John Kessel. This is a mashup of Frankenstein and Pride and Prejudice. This video is getting long, I apologize. Pride and Prejudice meets Frankenstein as Mary Bennett falls for the enigmatic Victor Frankenstein and befriends his monstrous creature in this clever fusion of the two popular classics. So, and you know what? I haven't read Pride and Prejudice. I've read part of it, but I've never finished it. Frankenstein I read probably 25 years ago or more. So I think what I may do is we'll see. We'll see if this actually happens, but I may read Frankenstein and Pride and Prejudice first and then dig into this. But I'm excited to have it, and I big thank you for sending me this. And I also received a copy, an ARC of The Tangled Lands by Paolo Bacigalupi. Sorry, and Tobias S. Buckle. And I'll just read this really quick. To practice magic is to tempt death at the hands of the mob, yet the city of Kham is ruled by a tyrant and the most powerful of defilers, the last archmage of the world. Kham, the last great city of a decaying empire, clings to life. It is a world where magic destroys. Award-winning authors Paolo Bacigalupi and Tobias S. Buckle explore a shared world where magic is forbidden and its use is rewarded with the executioner's axe. A world of glittering memories and a desperate present where everyone uses a little magic and someone else always pays the price. That sounds really cool. I actually had requested this from NetGalley, and I still haven't heard on NetGalley if I'm approved to read it. It comes out February 27th. So I was really excited when this was on the list that got sent to me of possible books to grab. So I'm really excited to have this, and I'm probably going to be digging into this one really soon. And that's it. That's the book haul portion. I apologize that this has gone on to almost 20. Well, will be probably 26 minutes by the time I'm done. Tried to get through it as quickly as I could. It's been a long time since I've done my weekend reads. My weekend books. But I'm excited to be back to this. I have a feeling at the pace I'm going at right now, especially with audiobooks back into the mix, I'm hoping that I'm gonna have at least a couple books to talk about that I finished each week, and I may start doing some book review videos. I'm thinking about it. I'm not good at them, but getting good at them will just come with doing them. So, but anyway, that's it. Thank you to all my subscribers. Welcome to all my new subscribers. And I will see you all in my next video.